To be a Steeler is to consider others before you consider yourself. To protect your brother, even from himself. To give support at your own expense. And when wearing the black and gold suit of armor, make sure nobody desecrates it, disrespects it. Most importantly, we ourselves don't dishonor it. From previous legends who have donned the black and gold. These virtues I learned while playing for the Steelers are what make the legacy of the black and gold timeless. They are passed down in the locker room from the steel curtain to anyone who valiantly wears the black and gold. Creating a brotherhood that is deeper than money, business, and winning. To be a Steeler is to consider others before you consider yourself. This is our culture, Steeler culture. Now, here are your hosts, Rob and Dan, the Steel Twins.
SteelTwins Nation, Happy New Year, man. And oh boy, do we got a lot to get into today with all the recent rumors going around social media.
Yeah, what a way to start 2024, man.
What a way to start.
It was kind of chaotic all over Steelers social media.
Can you call it Kenny-otic? I know.
Shut the fuck up, dude. I swear to God.
I'm full of bad jokes.
You're starting the year off on a bad joke, bro.
I can get worse. Man, we haven't talked to you guys since last year. Okay, I'm done. I swear to God, I'm done. Okay, I got my little jokes in there. I'm done.
I don't condone the jokes, ladies and
gentlemen.
worst
joke of 2024. I get it. Yes, that's another one. Anyway, we're going to get into the Kenny Pickett situation that's been going around social media, specifically X, formerly known as Twitter. And obviously, we got the Steelers versus Ravens matchup to talk about, where Mason Rudolph will be getting the start again, and why this is the right decision. You guys already know why, but we'll get into all of it. But thank you guys for joining us today on episode 40 of the Steeler Culture Podcast as we prepare for the last week of the regular season with the playoff hopes somehow still alive. And in some cases, you would think that there's a better chance than what many people are saying or what the percentage says. But regardless, Steelers are still going to need to win and pray. Or if they don't win, they're still going to have to pray even more.
Yeah.
So the Steelers, man, no matter how we walk out of Baltimore.
And that's on Saturday, too.
It is on Saturday.
That's on Saturday. So say we win on Saturday against Baltimore. We still got to wait till at least after Sunday Night Football, Miami and Buffalo, to see if we do enter the playoffs. So it's a wait-and-see type of deal if the Steelers win.
Exactly. Because we open Week 18 on Saturday, which I don't know why the NFL keeps putting the Steelers on Saturday, especially mid-Saturday. Me, personally, that really pisses me off. And I feel like if we make the playoffs, they're going to do it again. But that's my own personal problem.
It's just something with Steelers Saturday football. I mean,
yeah, I suppose.
It's a trend this year, I guess, or last year. All right, I'm done. I'm done.
But yes, no, we open Week 18 on Saturday evening, leading into Saturday night in Baltimore, and then we just gotta wait and watch for Sunday to see if the Steelers do make the playoffs, regardless, win or loss for the Ravens, who are the number one seed They are 13-3. They have clinched the number 1 seed, and there is a lot of belief that they will sit their starters. Most importantly, Lamar Jackson, who could be in the running for MVP at this point after 5 touchdowns last week.
Yeah, dismantled the Miami Dolphins.
Not only the Dolphins, but the week before that, the Niners.
Let's not forget, weeks ago, they destroyed the Detroit Lions.
Yeah.
So it's like, I mean, the Ravens, when it comes to the regular season, they're a legit team.
Yes, and I hate to say that because, you know, I used to call them overrated and overhyped and unlegit just based on history. And that still translates a little bit into the playoffs. I'm not going to lie to you. I'll get into that. But first, I do have to say that the Ravens are legit. They are probably the most legit team in the NFL. They might be the best team in the NFL, if I'm going to be honest with you. And that pains me to say that as Steelers fans.
Yeah.
I hate saying that. I hate admitting that. I hate seeing them succeed, especially at the top of the division. And more so the conference, exactly.
Yeah.
So it sucks and pains me to see that. But history shows with Lamar and especially John Harbaugh, they choke in the playoffs. They do not go far. And that is still where I'm kind of holding back on the Ravens' legitimacy. But if this isn't their year, it never will be.
Mm-hmm.
They have everything going their way. They have number 1 seed. They have their best season possibly with the entire team they have all together since 2019. The Chiefs aren't legit no more. The Bills aren't legit. The Dolphins aren't legit. They literally run the AFC through Baltimore.
Yeah.
So if this isn't their year, it never will be. But the belief is the Ravens will be sitting most of their starters, most importantly Lamar Jackson. So we will see Tyler Huntley, who obviously has history against the Pittsburgh Steelers because Lamar doesn't have many games against us. And Tyler Huntley has played the majority of the games recently with the Steelers and Ravens. Last time these two fought was obviously week 5 before our bye week, where Kenny Pickett laid out a dime deep to George Pickens one-on-one for the game winner. As a matter of fact, Kenny Pickett, man, he will be the number 2. He confirmed that. He will be the number 2. And he does have some rich history against the Ravens. His last 2 matchups, he has led us to game-winning drives, game-winning touchdown passes. You got to give him that.
Yeah.
But that was not much of a reason for the Steelers to start Kenny Pickett in this game because they're still going with Mason. And that's the right decision. Why? Mike Tomlin said it himself. From a point aspect, from an offense aspect, we haven't been this efficient, this aggressive on offense all year. So we're still going to leave the ball in Mason's hands. He also mentioned that Kenny's availability is less of an issue. Kenny is fully healthy. He's cleared. As a matter of fact, it seems like he's been cleared. But
According to reports.
But from what Kenny said today regarding the rumors going around on social media, which we might as well get into that now.
Get it out the way.
Yeah, get out the way. Kenny pretty much said that he was healthy, or he said that if he was healthy to go versus Seattle, he would have started.
Yeah.
The trainers and the coaches believe that he was not healthy enough, which is why Mason started last week versus Seattle. And Kenny was healthy and active. Or he wasn't active. He wasn't even a backup. But there were reports leading back to, the day before the game from Jerry Dulac.
A couple days before the game. Dulac on X posted out and said that Kenny is healthy to play, but the Steelers will still have him as an inactive participant for the game. And Tomlin, the day after the Seahawks game, on his press conference just yesterday, stated that he was cleared to play. He was cleared to go. But his reason being why Kenny wasn't activated was because of not many reps or limited reps.
Lack of participation.
For Kenny Pickett.
Which makes no sense to us because this is the guy that's been the starter for a year and a half. Why would lack of reps or lack of preparation with the 1s or 2s be an issue to, not start or not play Kenny Pickett? He's your starter. He was your starter before he got hurt. So I don't find that as a logical reason. And like we said, he was apparently cleared, according to Jerry Dulac on X, and there were reports from DK Sports from a source that he has that said that Kenny Pickett was cleared Thursday. But the reason Mike Tomlin didn't play him is because he didn't think that was enough time for Kenny to participate or to have enough reps to back up or play or even start against Seattle, which Kenny Pickett said in his interview earlier today, which I'll show here because more so this is about a rumor that went around early yesterday, where Mark Madden, yes, that Mark Madden, said, just got told that Pickett 100% refused to be the backup. that the Steelers writers know that but won't write it. Now, Mark Caboli of The Athletic would later also say that there are things that I know that I can write, and there's things I know that I can't write. So that could be stemming to what Mark Madden is saying. But Kenny Pickett today in an interview had this to say about the rumors of him refusing to be a backup.
I saw reports out there that I feel like we're attacking, my character and how I am as a person, not even getting into a player standpoint of it. There was no talk of me being a backup quarterback this week in terms of being a 2. If I was healthy enough to play and the trainers and coaches felt like I would look good enough to play, I was going to start and play. If they believed that I was not, which they believed I was not going to dress and suit up for the game. So whoever reported that, I don't know where it started. It's kind of crazy what people will write and put out there to try to, prove their point or help their standpoint or their careers and what you guys do. But disappointing to see that without any proof or basis of it. So this week I'm now the 2. They feel good 4 weeks out of the surgery for me to dress and be the 2. So I will be the 2 and do what I have to do to be ready to go for Baltimore. So if there's any other questions about that, I feel like I answered it pretty good there. If there's anything else, is there any Baltimore questions that we get on to Baltimore?
So you never had any say?
Shit, we were muted the whole time.
Oh, my
Son of a
God.
bitch, we were muted the whole time. So yeah,
That's your fault.
That's my fault. My fault. Fucking first mistake of 2024. We completely to unmute. Pretty much what we were saying was Kenny Pickett confirmed in the discussion he had that he denies any reports that there was discussion of him and the Steelers about him playing backup, or he denies any reports that he refused to play backup. He denies all those reports.
Yes.
And he mentions that if he was healthy enough to go, if the trainers and coaches thought he was healthy enough to go, he would have started versus Seattle, which I think we all agree here would have been the wrong decision. It would have been the wrong decision.
Yeah, the Steelers made the right choice going with Mason Rudolph, as seen in the Seahawks game.
Yes. But what I don't get, and this is where it all gets confusing, okay? He was apparently cleared before the game. According to DK Sports report, he was cleared Thursday. Mike Tomlin in his press conference about the Ravens, which was literally a day after the game, the day after the Seahawks, where Kenny was a healthy inactive, or he wasn't inactive regardless. He was inactive. When talking about Kenny, he said that his health is less in question this week. But he wasn't healthy enough to play versus Seattle.
So 12 hours ago for the game, he couldn't play, but 12 hours later he's able to.
That's
not his health's not in question
now,
anymore.
Maybe we're looking too far into this. Maybe we're nitpicking. Maybe we're making this more of what it probably isn't. But that's the part that doesn't make sense. According to 2 accounts of reports, he was cleared Thursday and he was healthy to go versus Seattle, but was still inactive. But Kenny, in his discussion, in his interview today, said that he was not healthy to go. So
Something doesn't add up.
No.
Something is fishy.
There's gaps that aren't being filled right there. It makes no sense to me.
It makes this whole scenario that much more confusing.
Yeah, a little bit. So is this, and this wouldn't be the first time that something will be swept under the rug under Mike Tomlin and in the front office to hide something. It wouldn't be the first time. Now, again, we might be making this a little more something than what it really is. All that really matters right now is Mason is confirmed the starter for the Ravens, and Kenny will be the backup. He will be the number 2. I just find it weird. Kenny says he wasn't cleared by trainers, which is why he didn't play, but there are reports that he was healthy.
Tomlin admitted himself.
And the reason why Kenny didn't play or he wasn't active was because of lack of reps, lack of participation.
And that excuse, I find that very hard to believe. I find that to be a BS excuse on Tomlin's part.
Because, again, he has been the starter all year until he got hurt. So why would lack of preparation be any reason for him to be inactive or be a backup? So there are some gaps that aren't filled with that statement or with what Kenny said.
No, there's some...
Or with what many reports are reporting. It's like none of them are adding up. All of them are saying one, and the quarterback, Kenny, is saying the other.
And quite honestly, with everything coming out and still coming out, you know, it leaves you with more continued questions than answers. With almost every report that comes out, via sources or Tomlin or Kenny, it leaves you with more questions than answers.
Right.
And it's not a good look for the team. That's not a good look for Pickett, especially in a week where it's basically go big or go home.
Yes.
This is a big week for the Steelers, for the team, for Tomlin, everybody.
Right.
All together. This is a big week. And I feel like with this, at the start of the week and where they have to prepare for probably the biggest game of their season.
It's a massive distraction.
It is. So it's like, it's bad timing and it's a bad distraction for where the team should have their focus on.
But from what Kenny said today, he denies everything about the whole backup talk or him refusing to be a backup. And he will be the number 2 this week. That's pretty much what he confirmed. He will be the number 2 this week. Mason gets to start. We all know that's the right decision.
Yeah, despite everything that's coming out, the rumors, reports, whatever, Steelers made the right decision to go with Mason.
Yes.
There's no question about that. Mason's the guy to go for this game.
Now, I'm going to dig something up. And again, maybe we're making more of this than what there really is. But Kenny said that he was going to start versus Seattle if he was healthy, which reports said they were, but Kenny said that he wasn't. Whatever. Kenny said he was going to start versus the Seahawks if he was healthy. According to Kenny, he was not.
Mm-hmm.
So why would the Steelers start Kenny coming off an injury instead of Mason? But now Mason is the starter. And it's not because Kenny isn't hurt no more. He's not hurt. He's healthy.
He's ready to go.
Tomlin confirmed that. That is now his health is less in question. What appears to me is our starting quarterback, our first-round quarterback, got benched. Now, Tomlin didn't come out and flat out say that.
And he's not going to.
No coach in the NFL is going to say, yeah, we benched our quarterback because our other guy's playing better. Pretty much what he said was, in terms of efficiency and points and aggression on offense, we're going to leave the ball in Mason's hands because we have lacked this amount of stability, this amount of consistency, and the amount of points scored all season. So Tomlin is making the proper decision. He made the perfect response in regards to starting Mason. That's exactly what he had to say, and I agree with Tomlin 100%.
Yeah.
Start Mason. Stick with the hot hand. Stick with the guy that's leading your offense to back-to-back 30-point games where the season's on the line, where it's literally the most important game of the season. Now, win or loss, we're still going to need some help, but you're still trying to win. You're still trying to win to get in.
You still got to handle business. You got to go in Baltimore and do some damage.
Exactly. So going with Mason is the smart decision. Kenny will be the backup. Mitch will be the third stringer. He will be inactive. He should have been inactive also. He never should have been signed to the Steelers, let's be honest.
No, that was a big
In fact,
blunder.
It's a travesty. It's a travesty we all had to see Mitch line up under center at quarterback.
Yeah, that was an overall big blunder by the Steelers entirely.
Dude. And reflecting on it, man, all they had to do last year was just whatever they did with Mitch, they could have just done with Mason.
And I don't get why they did. I know why they didn't do that with Mason was because they seen Mitch as a former first rounder. And they seen that one little bit of optimism of what Mitch could bring to the Steelers offense because of what he was able to do in Chicago, although it wasn't really that great.
Right.
They've seen the first-round pedigree because it's a Tomlin thing. He sees guys with first-round pedigree, and he brings them in because, maybe there's still something left in them, that he could probably revive within the Steelers' coaching and the scheme and the organization, yet 9 times out of 10 it doesn't work.
Yeah.
It doesn't happen.
Yeah. And the reason why we bring this up is because, obviously, when Kenny went down, Tomlin unfortunately elected to go with Mitch for 2 games. And that is why the Steelers are in the position they're in right now, which is why we need help. In fact, I believe that if Mason was the starting quarterback when Kenny went down and Mitch was the backup, Mitch was the third stringer, if the roles were reversed between Mason and Mitch, I feel like we wouldn't be in this situation.
Yeah.
We wouldn't have lost 3 straight. We would have won at least one of those 3 games. I firmly believe that. Mason has shown capability as a backup, which is why he should start. And I feel like if he would have started earlier, we wouldn't need help from the Titans or the Dolphins or the fucking Broncos.
Yeah.
Win or loss.
And looking back at that does fall on Mike Tomlin because
It
he
does.
made that mistake. He made that choice to go with Mitch, and it blew up in his face, and that's his fault.
There's been a lot of blunders with the Steelers recently, but that is definitely one of the biggest. Because now we're in the situation we're in, unfortunately. But thankfully, Tomlin turned it around when he needed to, and that's led to Mason leading us to 2 straight great victories, hoping to get it 3 against Baltimore, man. Not even Kenny's great history against Baltimore could save him to be the starter for this one. Mike Tomlin made the proper decision with starting Mason again.
Yeah.
Kenny's the backup. I mean, anything could happen. Mason could have a shit performance. He can go down with injury, and then Kenny comes in and saves the day. I don't know. Anything can happen. But I do feel like that our current order of quarterback is a lot more trustworthy than when it was the last time we faced the Ravens. It's a lot more trustworthy, a lot more comfortable. So, in that factor, we're still excited for Mason. And I feel like this is another big test for Mason.
Yeah.
This is another opportunity for him to not only express extra consistency, but see what he can do in his 3rd start against the Ravens, which is a tough team. A tough team, a legit team, arguably the best in the league. And although they will probably be sitting most of their starters, some on their defense, some on offense, I'd imagine their starters are going to get a series or 2. I feel like the Ravens are going to treat this as a playoff game or a preseason game for their starters, where they'll play them a little bit,
Yeah.
but then they'll throw them out. But one thing about the Ravens is they have great depth, especially on the defensive side of the ball. So this is going to be a big test for Mason and the offense to try to feed off what they've been doing the last 2 games, 2 back-to-back 30-point performances, and try to lead this team to a potential playoff spot after everything that's gone down this year.
Yeah.
This is another great opportunity for Mason and the entire offense, especially the rushing game. Rushing game's coming off one of the best performances all year, one of Najee's best performances, probably his best game of his career, arguably. I'd put that up with Ben's last home game, but
Yeah.
he's coming off a beast performance. We all know what Jalen Warren can do. That's obviously where you got to keep feeding the offense. Feed those 2 guys. That's how you lead this offense. That's how you help out Mason, and Mason will do everything else to get this offense down the field and finish some drives and get us some points to win these football games. And that's what he's been doing. But again, the Ravens are a little bit more of a rougher test because it's obviously our biggest rival. It's AFC North football. It's the Ravens, although they've already clinched it, I feel like they're going to treat this as playoff atmosphere because we are the Steelers, and they're going to want to try to spoil us as much as they can.
Oh, yeah, of course.
That's
absolutely.
how the Ravens, that's how this rivalry, that's how John Harbaugh is. That's just the I don't know, that's the reputation. That's the bad blood between these 2 teams, dude. Like,
Yeah.
seriously.
And
So-
the fact that we beat them earlier in the season.
Yes.
We beat them in Heinz Field in our own stadium. We beat them in a crazy game earlier. What was it, week 5?
Week 5, right before our bye.
Yeah, and Baltimore, backups or not, and Jim Harbaugh, or is it John? Which one is it again?
It's John.
John Harbaugh, yeah.
Jim is going to the college
championship game. Yeah, good for him, whatever. John Harbaugh, he's not going to want the Steelers, especially in the type of season they're having, to sweep the Ravens whatsoever. He's going to want to spoil the Steelers and knock them off their momentum wave.
Absolutely, especially when they're leading with a guy like Mason Rudolph in the rushing game they have. And like we stated, man, the Ravens' defense has really good depth defensively. Their defensive line is very stacked, led by Justin Matabuke, who has, 12, 13 sacks?
13.
What a season he's having.
Big year.
And I feel like his name's relatively quiet around the league. Like, that's impressive for a defensive lineman.
Yeah.
In a 3-4 system. Very impressive. Obviously, they got Broderick Washington, Adafio Way. Roquan Smith has been a hell of an addition for them. Patrick Green stepping up. You got Clowney, who I think is 2nd in sacks. Kyle Van Noy's not far behind him.
Now,
They have great
he's the
depth.
backup. Yeah, Van Noy, too. He's the backup to Clowney,
Yeah.
and he's got 8 sacks.
Yeah.
So it's like, yeah, their front 7 and their depth is ridiculous. It's dominant.
They know how to slow down, especially some of the best in the league.
Yeah.
They know how to slow down offenses. They know how to limit the run game, and they know how to force turnovers. The Ravens are very good defensively,
Yeah.
even with their depth, which is why we say this is another great test, another great possible potential showing for Mason and the offense, especially the rushing offense. Or the reason why I bring up Mason mostly is because if our rushing offense is limited and the Ravens can slow down that factor, obviously they're going to have to force the game into Mason's hands.
Yeah.
And that's where Mason is going to have to step up. He's done really well. He's done great the last 2 weeks. But I feel like Mason is definitely going to have to step up a little more in this game.
Now, he's going up against a fierce secondary in Baltimore. Again, some of the starters may not play, but I would imagine that they're going to want to keep him in to slow down, how Mason's been playing in the momentum wave he's riding. Same with George Pickens, how dominant Pickens has been since Mason has stepped in.
Right.
They got guys like Kyle Hamilton, Geno Stone, who's got, 7 interceptions on the season.
Yeah, dude.
When it comes to the deep ball, which is obviously Mason's best trade, they're going to try to contain that.
Especially
And-
with the way Pickens has been working.
and getting a guy like Geno Stone, who just has an eye for the football this year, who can get interceptions and turnovers, they're probably going to want to keep him up at deep safety
Right.
to limit and slow down George Pickens.
Yeah, so even though they've clinched the number 1 seed and they can just rest their starters, they can have 2 weeks off before they face whoever, which could potentially be the Steelers again in the divisional round. There's a likelihood that could go down.
Yeah.
Because if we make the playoffs, we're the 7th seed, and we would have to face Miami, the number 2 seed.
Yeah.
That scares the shit out of me. I'm not going to lie to you. But if somehow the Steelers were to get their first playoff win, and was it 7 years, they would face the Ravens again in the divisional round. There's a chance we could see the Ravens a 3rd time this year. But first, we have to win this game and pray for that, and then get to that point. That's most important. But I do want to add that up. But even though the Ravens can gladly just sit pretty right now, again, I feel like they're gonna go into this like playoff atmosphere, like it's a 1-game elimination tournament. They're going to try to spoil us as much as possible. That is the bad blood between this rivalry between these 2 teams, and in that fact, you gotta love it. That's why it's considered one of the greatest rivalries of all time, and probably still is in the NFL.
Always will be.
Always will be.
Always will be.
What do we say? It doesn't matter who plays. It doesn't matter who the quarterbacks are. These 2 teams will always give you a hell of a fucking game. Even with Mason and Tyler Huntley playing. And I do anticipate Huntley to start because they're not going to play Lamar. They're just not. If there's one guy I am sure they're not going to play, it's Lamar.
But regardless, they know us and we know them.
Yes.
That's exactly the type of quote that Tomlin's been saying. I'm sure Harbaugh said it a couple times here and there. It's just a type of quote between the Steelers and Ravens. They know us. We know them.
Right. But along with the Ravens' defense, man, their offensive depth isn't too bad as well. I mean, they've always been good at running the football. They lost J.K. earlier, but that still hasn't stopped them.
Now, they're still in an elusive rushing
attack.
Rushing attack,
They
They know how to run the football. They've always known how to run the football.
Yeah, exactly. Their receivers, their leading receiver is Zay Jones.
Zay Flowers.
Zay Jones. Zay Flowers.
Yes, almost 1,000 yards for the rookie.
Yeah, it's impressive. Now, outside of that, I feel like Rashad Bateman hasn't stepped up as a first-rounder. Odell, in my opinion, has always been overrated. He's been decently productive for them, but he's definitely not the same guy. He's not.
Well, with Odell on the Ravens, he's been that productive hand. He hasn't been the star receiver for them. Because that's Zay Flowers for the future. I think he's shown that enough this year. But Odell's role with the veteran that he is, he's that productive hand for Lamar and the offense and the receiving corps.
He doesn't have to be that crazy receiver he used to be years ago. He just has to be a dependable vet, and that's what he has been. They lost Mark Andrews, obviously, as you guys know, but Isaiah Likely is no slouch. He's been such a dependable target, such a great backup. He's definitely going to see a lot of reps in this game, and we've been very rough in the middle of the field, slowing down tight ends. So I'm sure.
So Likely up there, that definitely worries me big time.
And Tyler Huntley and Likely, man, they were kind of the front tiers when it came to the second team reps leading up into the season and throughout the season. So those two, I'd imagine, got incredible chemistry. So that is probably something we're going to have to game plan against. Slow that down defensively for the Steelers, for sure. Their offensive line's pretty good. I mean, they got studs. They can run the ball. They can protect the quarterback. Our pass rush is going to have to just eat again. The pass rush was very inconsistent, very limited, I would say, last week. Didn't have a lot of pressures. Didn't really get to Geno a lot. Granted, Geno was very good in the pocket, and Huntley can do something very similar. But our pass rush, again, is going to have to step up in this one, especially Watt and Highsmith.
Yeah, no, they're going to have to come up clutch. And I've noticed when it comes to Watt and Highsmith, the Steelers and the usage between Watt and Highsmith has been, very, very high. Like, they've used them a lot instead of going with the reliable depth that they got. And I can understand why you want to get Watt and Highsmith down there and have them take the majority of the snaps because they're two of your best players on defense.
Well, you consider,
I understand,
especially the way the Steelers' offense was running. Time possession was massive.
Yeah.
They were just killing the clock, so they didn't have to worry about Watt or Highsmith getting gassed. But that doesn't mean you can't play the only guy that got you a sack last week, which is Nick Herbig. Literally helped us win the fucking game.
Yeah.
I mean, you got to play your depth. You got to play these guys that are just going to be playmakers, which is mostly the rookies. Benton's great. JPJ's been great. Herbig's been great in very limited reps.
Yeah.
The guy has 3 sacks for very limited reps this year. Continue to play him. You got to keep these guys fresh. If you guys want to get pressure on Huntley, if you guys want to attack the offensive line, if you want to get some pressure interiorly, you can very, very gladly put Herbig or Golden and Highsmith or Watt spot and put one of the 2 starters rushing interiorly. You guys can get very creative with your pass rush to try to get to the quarterback and force turnovers and help out this secondary, which is still very weak. Regardless of Minka's going to come back or not, you still got Patrick Pearson starting opposite of him, which means you still have, unfortunately, Levi Wallace playing. No one trusts Levi Wallace. Mm-hmm. You don't. So you still got to help out the secondary as much as you can, which is where the offense, again, is going to have to help out the defense. The defense was pretty much very, very, very much helped by the offense last week. You know how we always said that the defense has been carrying this team, and the defense was the reason why we had 7 wins in the first place, right? Well, now the offense last week showed you they can help the defense out a lot with the time of possession. I mean, I remember the Seahawks, they kept running the ball on us with Walker, and we couldn't stop it.
Yeah.
But they had to step away from it because the offense was performing so well.
Yeah.
So if we can go in with a similar game plan against the Ravens and help out the defense as much as we can, go for it. That's the exact game plan you got to go with. But the Ravens defense is a lot better than the Seahawks. The Ravens team is a lot better than the Seahawks. So they are not going to allow what the Steelers were able to do last week. They're not going to allow that happen to them. I love for it to happen. I just don't see it happening. The Ravens are that good. They're very that stacked defensively in terms of depth. So that's where, again, the offense is going to have to step up. But if the offense can't exactly replicate what they did last week and the defense is seeing a lot more time on the field, that's where the pass rush itself is going to have to step up because none of us trust the secondary with Minka coming back or not, which Minka is day-to-day, right? Same thing with Roberts?
That's what Tomlin stated in the press conference when it comes to an injury standpoint. Roberts and Minka will probably at least see limited participation, but they'll just keep an eye on their progress throughout the week, of course.
Right.
Which, fingers crossed, we get both of them back. We're going to need them for this type of game. But, I mean, if they're not ready to go, don't rush them.
No.
Don't rush them.
No.
Because the guys that have had to step in for them, Pat Pete up at safety, elevating Eric Rowe to be up at safety, Miles Jack, an inside linebacker, you know, those guys have stepped up and they've done significantly solid, in my opinion.
Right.
You know, I would trust them again to be in this type of matchup. But, again, it's an even bigger test. It's a much tougher task for them.
Yes, it is.
But when it comes to next man up, you know, it's a strong mentality when it comes to Tomlin and the Steelers.
And no one has taken that more literally than Mason Rudolph right now.
Yeah.
So with the state of this team and where we lie with the playoff rankings and just how much momentum we're riding with offensively, again, going with Mason is the right choice. Tomlin confirmed, like, we're going to keep the ball in Mason's hands because it's just, from a point and aggression aspect, he's just leading this offense better. You guys have already seen, just watch the game. A Mason-led offense has a lot more spark. They have a sense of desire to play and a bigger impact on the field. It's very evident compared to what we had with Kenny and Mitch, which is why going with Mason is the right decision with the most important game happening, man. With the I'm gonna use a Tomlinism, a Tomlin phrase, with the totality of the situation right now. Yes, you go with the guy that's been leading your team to the most success it's had all year.
Yes.
So the Steelers, man, they got some momentum riding into Baltimore with hopes of the playoffs, with a win or loss, but still need to pray for others, which, you know, we'll mention shortly. But the Steelers are feeling good right now. They have a lot on their side. They are facing the Ravens, with starters or not, but you still can't underestimate this team because, like we always say with these two teams, no matter who's playing, you're always going to anticipate a tough, gritty defensive battle. And the Ravens are going to come in here trying to play spoiler for us. They're going to try to make our playoff chances a lot worse.
Yeah.
So the Steelers are going to have to step up, and I think a lot of that has to do with our offense. The offense, big time, is going to have to step up in this one. The run game is going to have to be a little more consistent against a better rushing defense. And Mason, if the ball is going to have to lie in his hands, that's where Mason is going to have to prove himself as a true passer, which he already has. But especially if the season's going to be on the line for him.
Yeah.
He has arguably already helped and maybe saved our season. Like, imagine.
He saved Tomlin from having a losing season.
Yes, he absolutely did. Mason Rudolph saved Tomlin from having a losing season. And Mason Rudolph could save the Steelers' season even more by leading us to a playoff spot. In which, if he does, he should be the starter, not Kenny.
Yeah, you don't put Kenny back into postseason.
No,
I'm sorry.
Kenny's not starting a game the rest of the season. Unless Mason gets hurt or Mason shits the bed, you don't play Kenny. You keep going with Mason. Gives you the best chance in a lot of areas.
Yeah. Just going with the
Simple
high
as that.
hand is just as simple as that, and it's nothing but business.
Simple as that. But pretty much like the title says, man, just win and pray.
Yeah.
At this point, bro, just like obviously they're hoping for the playoffs, but the one thing they really got to be focused on is just winning this football game.
And at least they can do that when it comes to the Steelers being on Saturday. They're the first game to start Week 18.
Yeah.
So they can at least focus on just them winning this matchup instead of having to worry about a scoreboard or how other games are going. Although when it comes to them playing the game, they shouldn't even worry about that. Just worry on handling business. Worry about your
just
task.
worry about the game. Don't worry about the playoffs or who you have to play. Just worry about this game.
Worry about you and what you need to do.
That's all we got to do. It's all they got to do. Just worry about winning this football game. Now, if the Steelers do win this game, they need one or two things to happen. They need a Jags loss versus the Titans, or they need a Bills loss versus the Dolphins, which they play Sunday night. They will close out the regular season.
Yeah.
And that I think that will come down to if the Bills can make the playoffs, or that'll have some implications on the division, I believe, right?
That should determine, because I don't know if Miami exactly has the division at hand at the moment. I don't think they won the division yet.
I'm gonna check the standings.
I think
but
I think if they beat Baltimore last week, they would have won the division, but they didn't.
Yeah, because I know the Dolphins are still playing for something. I believe the Dolphins are still playing. Obviously, they clinched the playoffs. No, they're still fighting for the division.
Yeah, so this
the
game
Dolphins-
comes down to the AFC East.
The Dolphins are 11-5, and the Bills are 10-6.
Yeah.
So even though the Dolphins already clinched the playoff spot, the Dolphins or Bills are fighting for who wins the AFC East, which they will get, obviously, home field advantage.
Mm-hmm.
So the Dolphins still have something to fight for, which could help our factor, although they will be without Bradley Chubb and now Xavier Howard.
It doesn't help they also lost Jalen Phillips earlier in the year,
Yes.
so they're without some star power.
Yeah, against the Bills offense that's led by Allen and Diggs, and you already know what James Cook can do.
Yeah.
Now, it depends what type of Josh Allen wants to step up in primetime. He's had a very rough year. He could easily be the MVP leader if he didn't have so many turnovers, but
Yeah.
you can also blame him for being in the position that the Bills are in right now because of all his turnovers. So are we going to get that type of Josh Allen? Or
For our sake, we hope so, but it's all going to have to be determined come Sunday night.
Yes. But regardless, Steelers win, and they need to pray for a Jags loss or a Bills loss. If the Jags lose, then we don't have to worry about the Bills game. But if the Jags win versus the Titans, then yes, this Sunday night game will come down to if we make the playoffs or not. If we win. If the Steelers do not win, now again, to add, we also still need the Colts and Texans to not tie because that is true. I do want to throw that out there because there is some possible weird, stupid universe where that could happen.
Yeah, it almost did between the Chargers and Raiders how many years ago?
Yeah.
We all thought, oh, there's no way. There's absolutely zero possibility, zero chance. Yet we all sustained heart attacks at the end of the night.
Yes, we did. So we still don't need that to happen, but how likely is that going to happen? Then again, I said that how many years ago for that game, but
So we have to keep a keen eye on that matchup too.
yes.
So
They can't
it's
tie.
just a lot on our plate. Simple as that.
Yeah, but they cannot tie. But Steelers win, and then need a Jags loss or a Bills loss. If the Steelers lose, they're not officially eliminated, but they will need two things to happen. They need a Jags loss and a Broncos win versus the Raiders. Now, the Raiders already beat them in week 1, so the Broncos are going to fight for a little, something to fight for, something kind of revenge.
Pedigree.
Yeah, pretty
Pride
much.
at this point.
Right. Granted, Russell Wilson's not starting, but yeah.
Yeah.
So we need we're still going to need the Jags losing the Broncos to win, even though they probably will be the Broncos will be starting Jarrett Stidham and the Jags will face the Titans. I mean, just win this game and hope that the Titans or the Dolphins can win. It's as simple as that, dude.
Yeah.
That's why we say, dude, just win and pray. Just focus on this game and this game alone. Don't worry about no one else. Don't worry about nothing else. Don't worry about the playoffs, bro. Just win this football game.
Yeah.
And then if we're lucky, we might make the playoffs with some help, which we obviously have to do that every fucking year at this point.
Yeah.
We always got to ask for help, even though we could easily be in the playoff right now, but we're not. We're not. Because, they wanted to sign Mitch Trubisky last year, unfortunately.
They wanted to go with Trubisky for some reason.
Yeah.
But, here we are. But
Here we are.
what I do want to get into was what broke, the news that broke before we actually went live, and I got it right here. When it comes to the officiating crew for the Steelers and Ravens.
Yeah, and I've seen some of the chat mention it as well.
Referee Brad Allen and his crew, who we're all familiar with when it comes to last Saturday night against the Detroit Lions and the Dallas Cowboys in the controversial, who was ineligible situation. They will be assigned to the Steelers and Ravens game, so they will be the officiating crew for the Steelers matchup this Saturday.
How does he still have a job? He literally cost the Lions the football game. He literally cost the Lions extra seating in the playoffs
Yeah, he did.
because with the Eagles' loss to the Cardinals, that would have helped the Lions out a lot in the NFC seedings. But because that ref and his officiating crew screwed the Lions, that Eagles loss means nothing for the Lions anymore. How does this guy still have a job? And now he's going to be officiating our game?
And this man's back on primetime television.
Now he's going to start our game.
Yes.
That fucking scares me. And the way these two teams fight, man, the way these two teams battle, AFC North, Steelers, Ravens rivalry, it's going to be physical, dude.
Physical, brutal. I mean,
all
over
types
the
of
top.
ridiculous flags are going to be thrown. And
Oh, it's going to be flag century. It's going to be the most flag game of
God.
2024, bro.
Why would the NFL put him on this game? You can't put him on one of the most meaningless games of the week. Why this game?
Why
How
have
does he
him
still have a-
officiate? Why have him officiate
Yeah,
at
well,
all
how's-
this week?
Dude, there's no investigation into it. At least not to what I'm hearing. There's no suspension. There's nothing indefinite about him not coach or officiating no more. How is he still being allowed to officiate games? That makes no sense. And that really puts a damper on this football game.
And yeah, it does kind of concern me when it comes to this matchup because the NFL nowadays, the referees can kind of screw out some teams when it comes to some predicaments in the football game.
And that's why people always throw out the point of, oh, well, it's rigged. Well, yeah, I mean, it's not rigged like the way you would think, but, like, it's not predetermined, but it's, they could easily have something in their ear, hey, do this, do that, just so that the NFL can get fucking a certain agenda or a certain news
Headlines,
out there, headlines,
maybe,
all
whatever,
that shit,
whatever.
right? The NFL is all about that. They're all about headlines and everything, swear jar. So, yeah, they could absolutely do that with us and the Ravens, with this guy starting, with this guy officiating that game. That sucks. That really sucks. But I put a poll in the chat for you guys. Do the Steelers make the playoffs? 230 votes. 64% again say yes, you think the Steelers do make the playoffs. Now, what I want to add, do you think they should make the playoffs? I'm going to add that in the chat.
Yeah, go and do that really quick.
Because me personally, I'm not going to lie to you, I don't want to see them in the playoffs only because we already know what the game is going to be. We already know how the result's going to be. And before anyone, cancels me, they're going to be like, oh, how do you know that? How can you say that? How can you determine that already? Well, just watch the last 7 fucking years. Watch the last 4 playoff appearances we've had. Swear jar. Every game has been a blowout loss. We are in our longest playoff win drought since before Franco made the Immaculate Reception play.
Yeah. Even during the 80s, we didn't have this big of a playoff drought.
The last 4 times Tomlin's made the playoffs, we have lost. We have not won a playoff game since 2016.
Yeah.
That's why I don't think we're going to win in the playoffs,
or go far in the playoffs in general.
Yeah, which is a reason why I don't want to see them in the playoffs because regardless, it's going to be another L on Tomlin's playoff streak. How many times in Tomlin's non-losing seasons has he made the playoffs and actually won? Not many.
No.
What has it been, 4 or 5 seasons he's only done that? It's not many. It's actually very bad.
I mean, since Super Bowl 45, Tomlin's only won 3 playoff games.
Yeah.
That's it. Since 2010. 13 years and only 3 playoff games while having the killer bees.
Yeah.
While having the highest paid defense in the NFL, while having these loaded seasons.
So you think
This talent.
So you think that with this team in its current quarterback situation, and with how bare we are at safety and linebacker, that against the Miami Dolphins, which I think that's confirmed, if we make the playoffs, we would face the Dolphins. You think that against them, we have a chance? I don't see that. Not in Miami.
You think we're going to limit Raheem Mostert in his touchdowns? You think we're going to stop David Achante?
Or Tyreek Hill.
Jalen Waddle if he's healthy?
You got Mike McDaniel.
I mean, come on. Come on.
That's just me personally. That's just me. I don't see us winning a playoff game if we make the playoffs. Would it be something for Tomlin to turn the season around and make the playoffs? Yeah, I guess it's impressive. That's props to him, sure. But regardless, it's still gonna be an L on his playoff record.
Yeah.
It's just gonna show you that. I swear to God, he does this every fucking year. Swear jar. He turns the season around somehow. 9-7, whatever the record is.
9-8.
Non-losing season, and doesn't do anything after that. Which is why the sign's still up. Because we see
for people that are questioning, why is the sign still up and everything like that? Because we don't forget, guys. We don't forget how this man is.
Everyone was on the Fire Tomlin train literally 3 weeks ago, and now because we got back-to-back 30-point games, everything's fine. And like, dude, this happens every year. Every year, and we don't win anything further than just a non-losing season.
Yeah.
And you're complacent with that?
Well, apparently our
times-
Rooney is too, because he sees no desire to make a change at coach. He wants to extend him. He has Tomlin in the plans for 2024 and years beyond that.
I'll say this. The only reason this would ever come down, which might be sooner rather than later, is because we know it's not happening. It's as simple as that.
And we know Tomlin's staying, but that doesn't mean we're satisfied about it.
No, exactly. Because it's still going to be the same
And we don't
thing.
agree with it. We do not agree with it because we know how Tomlin is. Props to him. Yes, he got another, winning season, and another year having a non-losing season. Yeah, whatever.
Right.
But we're still running for the playoff picture. How many years consecutively have we been, at the tail end of edging into the playoffs, asking for help?
Exactly.
When it comes to this year,
Especially
had he
this
made
year.
the right decision when Kenny got hurt and gave Mason that opportunity, I guarantee you, I would bet everything I have that we would not be in this predicament, that we would have already clinched a playoff berth. Probably be second place, not Cleveland,
You know what's messed up?
in the division.
I know, but you know what's most messed up? We could potentially go 10-7 this year and be what? 5-1 in the division, I believe. 5-1 in the division and still miss the playoffs. Because we lost to 2 teams that have a combined record 4-20.
Yeah.
You just don't lose games like that.
I'm sorry,
dude. You don't lose games like
no
that.
coach with a resume, a Hall of Fame resume, no coach like that should be losing those type of games back to back in the span of a week in your own stadium.
Yeah.
That's ridiculous.
So there's only 2 reasons why this sign will come down sooner rather than later. 1, because we know it's not happening, which we might as well take it down just for that reason. And 2, if he gets us a deep playoff run, which won't be this year. I don't think so. I'd love him to prove me wrong. I would love him to prove me wrong.
And if he does good, that's what we want.
Yeah, and I thought he did that many times before, but, I fell for that once. I'm not going to fall for it again. And I feel like a lot of people keep falling for that just because, hey, I don't understand. It's like we lose badly, and now everyone should go, but we win good the last 2 games, and I think everything's okay against. Like, no, dude. See, you're acting like the Steelers organization.
Yeah.
You think just because we win, because
everything's fine. Everything's fine and dandy, sunshine and rainbows.
Yeah,
there's nothing wrong here.
Because win or loss this year, Tomlin turned it around. That everything's fine. It's like it's not.
No,
it's not.
You know what's going to happen?
The same thing he's done the last how many years?
And you know what's going to happen? Next year, it's probably going to be seeing the same goddamn film, seeing the same goddamn episode, having the same goddamn meal. That's how it's going to be. I'm predicting it right now. It's going to be no different.
Right.
As long as Tomlin's here, it will be no different. The stance, the statement that we stated earlier in the year that we will never win another Super Bowl with Mike Tomlin under head coach, that will still remain true.
Yeah.
That's just the way it is.
Yeah, I think a lot of people tend to forget
Until
that.
proven otherwise, that's just how it's going to be. That's reality.
Right.
I'm sorry. That's just the way it is.
Yeah. It's just the way I see it is you don't lose games like that early in December. It's as simple as that, and we won't have to ask for all this help. But again, we know that he's not going nowhere, but that doesn't change our stance on him. That doesn't change that we're not going to win anything greater than what he's won this year with Tomlin. That's just my honest opinion. My honest opinion. And everyone's obviously going to throw out, who do you replace? Who do you find? I'm like, well, there's so many great options out there, more modern options out there.
Bro, there's several candidates out there.
Several candidates.
When it comes to a head coaching opening, especially for the Steelers organization with their reputation,
Right.
you don't think any type of coach would want to try to be a part of this lineage?
Right.
Eric Bieniemy out there, a Ben Johnson, what's his name? A Brian Johnson of Philly, you know?
Right.
Guys like that. There's many candidates, other candidates out there. That's just a couple names off the top of my head.
Right.
But there's more candidates out there, absolutely.
Right. So that's just our little touch on if the Steelers should or they shouldn't make the playoffs. And I hope we're proven wrong. I hope they do make the playoffs and they do see the Ravens once again this year. I hope they see the Ravens for a third time. I'd love nothing more than that.
Of course.
But just based on recent history and the state of this team, and especially coaching, there's no reason for me to believe that. And if you do want to believe that, then by all means, bro, I appreciate and I commend your optimism.
And that's on you.
But
God bless you.
I fell for that before. I'm not going to let these two great wins recently change my mind. No.
These two great wins don't erase our last 3 losses.
No.
I'm sorry, they don't. And how many seasons?
Right.
I'm sorry, it doesn't.
So, I apologize if that's too negative for you guys, but that's just our opinion, bro. That's just our opinion. And again, history just reflects on that. So, sorry, not sorry. But obviously, I'm still hoping for the best for this team. That doesn't mean I want to see this team fail. I don't.
No.
I wish nothing but great success for this team, bro. I wish nothing but great success for Mason or whoever's in at quarterback and Mike Tomlin and then some. That's all I want. I want us to continue to succeed. That's all I want. But again, based on recent history, why should I believe that?
Yeah.
Why should I believe that this coaching staff that hasn't won us anything in recent years is going to win us anything with a rough quarterback situation, even though we are starting our best quarterback on the roster right now? So, that's just how I feel, man. All right, let's see how the chat's feeling. It was too negative for me, says Joseph. Well, Joseph, I apologize. I apologize. Where are we at? Alex D says Steelers need to finally put loyalty aside and make necessary moves. Kenny has not earned to go into the season with no competition. Need to evaluate position coaches more closely. So I agree. Alex, I couldn't agree more. They are going to run with Kenny, but like you said, they should not go into it without competition.
No, they should absolutely bring in competition. And, you know, when it comes to, I want to go back to his injury that he sustained against Arizona. If I want to pull out a positive with Kenny getting injured, and when I say positive, I mean positive for the Steelers quarterback room and the future of this team.
Right.
And how Mason has stepped in when Mitch shit the bed and Kenny's injury. Mason has shown that Kenny is not the answer.
Yes.
Mason and
this is the same scheme, same line, same weapons, same play calling.
Mason has shown that Kenny is not it. Kenny is not him. And he is not the future at quarterback for the future.
Yeah, these last 2 weeks have really kind of exposed Kenny, honestly. I know everyone's going to throw out, well, Kenny looked good in his one game without Canada, but to me that's not enough to justify him coming back as the full starter with zero competition.
Yeah. No,
they're going to bring him back. They're going to have him compete because he's the first-round guy. He was the starter the last year and a half, right? They still got him under contract, but they need to bring someone in, whether that is resigning Mason. And truthfully, just the way we see it, and we've said this before, if they're going to give Kenny an opportunity, they should give Mason an opportunity. But I feel like they got to bring someone else in for that opportunity as well.
Yeah.
Where that is a veteran, a more capable veteran, not Mitch, or they can draft someone if they fall enough. I think the Steelers have a lot of needs that quarterback might be put on the back burner, but they should definitely do their due diligence.
Of course. Without a doubt.
If someone falls, then absolutely you go grab the guy. It's almost like a Jalen Hurts situation. And Andy Weidel was in that same Eagles room that drafted Hurts. So
yeah,
I'd hope he bring that same mindset to the Steelers front office, to Khan and to company. So, yeah, I agree. Kenny's a backup. Kenny is a backup quarterback. He's an incredibly safe backup quarterback. He can help you lead to victories. He won't turn the ball over, but he's not Mason. He's not going to stretch the field. He's not going to stay composed in the pocket. He's not going to hit his targets consistently. He's not going to help feed his targets. He's not going to help feed his weapons.
He's not going to be aggressive while doing it either.
No, he's an incredibly safe backup. He's a better Mitch. That's all he is. He's a safer Mitch Trubisky. And saying anyone is a safer Mitch Trubisky still isn't a good thing because Mitch Trubisky is ass.
No, we've even thrown out
Swear
the
jar.
comparison that he's a safer Zach Wilson.
Yeah.
And that still ain't good. When we're comparing you as a safer Zach Wilson or a safer Mitch Trubisky, I mean, all that says is you're a safe backup.
Yeah.
But you're not the future. Simple as that. You'll compete to be the starter.
Right.
That's fine, but Steelers absolutely need to bring in a worthy competitor for Kenny to compete with.
And not just that, but going back to Alex's second part of his comment, he said they need to evaluate better position coaches. That includes scrapping the entire offensive scheme.
Yes.
The coaches, the scheme, the playbook, burn it all. Throw it all away. Bring back Alfredo Roberts, and that's it, because he's been a good tight end coach. That's it. That's the only offensive position coach that comes back. Everyone else, you got to get someone new.
Revamp, rechange, rebrand it, whatever. Do whatever. Just change it.
So for those that want to say that they threw Kenny in, or they didn't give him the right scheme or a good line, or they didn't really help Kenny's benefit, which some of that may be true. But again, you see what Mason's doing with literally the exact same offense, and he's just performing better.
Almost lights out.
But yeah, let me argue with those guys that say that Kenny was thrown into a bad situation. Well, let's go with an entire fresh coaching staff. Let's go with an entire fresh offensive scheme, a new playbook, right? Hopefully, fingers fucking crossed. Fine. Then let's see what Kenny is truly made of. Then he will truly have zero excuses. He already doesn't. But people still want to believe that he's the franchise. And I used to believe that, dude. We were full supporters from day one.
Day one, as soon as Franco announced him as a Pittsburgh Steeler, we've been supporters since day one, and we want nothing more than Kenny to be successful.
I'm still supportive of Kenny, dude. Why would I want Kenny to fail? But me as a fan and what I've watched compared to what Mason has done, why should I believe he's the future? I just don't.
Yeah.
I just don't. And again, if this is too negative for you folks, I'm sorry, but just watch the fucking team. And people want to call us casuals. People want to call us casuals on our Instagram.
Call us negative. Call us clowns. Kenny haters. We don't hate Kenny. We were never Kenny haters. We don't hate anybody on the team.
I just watch the team. I watch every play. I evaluate every play. And
we give
plain obvious.
And we give constructive criticism when it's worth it.
Yes. Simple as that.
When they are deserving of it, just like Kenny.
There's no narrative. There's no agenda for us. It's just as simple as us watching the team, giving our full opinion based on what we've seen. Simple as that. Simple as that. You guys may gladly have your own opinions. If you guys disagree with us, that is your right. That is your right. I will argue with you, but that is your right. That's just our opinion. That's our opinion on Tomlin and Kenny. But as we know, next year, those two are coming back. Those two are coming back. And this year, I mean, he already wasn't going to be on the hot seat. He already wasn't going to be anything. Like, there was nothing that was in danger of Tomlin's future or his job. But this turnaround, if there was any, saves it. So, again, Tomlin's coming back. We know that. And Kenny will be back, but there should be definite competition for him. And I think that Tomlin deciding to go with Mason, I think that speaks a lot. Kenny was hurt, and then the third string backup that wasn't playing all year and all of last year outperformed him in just 2 games.
Yeah.
I think that says a lot that Tomlin is still sticking with Mason when Kenny is fully healthy.
Yeah.
I think that says a lot. Tomlin's not going to flat out say it, but I will say it for him. Kenny Pickett has been benched.
Kenny lost his job.
That doesn't mean that Mason won't be benched and Kenny won't come back in, but because that could still happen. Anything could happen. But Kenny has been benched. Otherwise, they would have started Kenny this game.
Or according to Kenny, exactly how he stated himself. If he was healthy enough, he would have started. He would have been the starter.
Right. Well, now he's healthy and he's not starting because Tomlin trusts Mason. Tomlin said he gives us the best chance in terms of points and aggression on offense.
And you saw in that Seahawks game with certain predicaments, 3rd and short, 4th and inches, whatever, he was more aggressive with Mason Rudolph than he ever was
Oh, yeah.
in a long time.
That's why that call on first down, that helped seal the game with the Pickens first down.
Dude, like
That was Mason confirmed that was Tomlin's call.
it's because Tomlin has full confidence in Mason at quarterback.
Yes.
That's all you need to know.
Now, Tomlin's going to have full confidence in anyone he puts a quarterback, but I can definitely sense he has lost that in Mitch, and he's definitely lost that in Kenny, which is why he's going to continue to play Mason, which is, again, the right decision. I got to commend and thank Tomlin for that. So, there you go. Anything can happen, like Mason getting to the playoffs and going far. You're right, Jose. Anything can happen. That would be great. Mason has definitely already saved our season, and he could advance it even more. He might get us a first playoff win in 7 years. That would be great.
I mean, that would just add more to this story between Mason and Rudolph already.
Not just Mason, but obviously, the future regarding Kenny Pickett.
Yeah, of course.
It would, because that definitely plays in effect.
Yeah.
But yes, I mean, I would love for that to happen. In fact, I wish for that to happen, regardless who the quarterback is. But if Mason gives us the best chance, which he does, you stick with him, and that even goes into the playoffs. And if you were to advance this farther, if we do get a third matchup versus the Ravens in a divisional round, then holy shit. Swear jar, twice.
Yeah.
Times 2. I still think Tomlin is not easy to replace. I don't think any coach is, but we are not out of options,
No.
is what I'm saying. There are a bunch of options out there. There are. I feel like every year there are a lot of great options out there, but they're going to stick with Tomlin to no one's surprise, and they might even extend him. In which, in that case, I might as well bring the sign down because, again, all we're getting is comments about it, which is annoying the ever-living shit out of me, swear jar.
Yeah.
And truthfully, it's not happening. We put 2-3 signs up this year about firing Canada, happened. Bench Wallace, happened. Start Mason, happened. There's only one that's not going to happen because it's the most stubborn statement that the Steelers will not follow.
Exactly. So, I mean, we'll have it on deck. We'll have it nearby, when it calls for.
I'll just take it down now.
My-
You got see. Here's what I don't understand, dude. Like, fucking before we were losing 3 straight, people were saying, "Oh, you got to put the fire Tomlin sign up." Well, then we
Yes.
do, and now everyone's saying, "Take it down." Like, what the fuck do you want? We can't.
We can't fucking win. We can't.
Fine, I'll take it down.
Can't fucking
And
win.
watch, we get a fucking comment saying, "No, take it back up. Take it back up." So there you go.
Watch the push pin right there.
So there you go.
Yeah.
There you go. It's down. You happy? The only reason we're taking it down is because it's not happening. And I'm quite frankly getting tired of seeing comments about us taking it down. So there you go. You happy? You got to listen to the audience. So there you go. But we know it's not happening. That doesn't mean we won't bring it back up.
Now we'll have it on deck.
He said, yay. No, everyone's indifferent. Everyone's indifferent. Everyone's indifferent.
We can't win, bro.
No, we can't
We
win.
can't win.
No.
It is what it is.
Bench Wallace back up. Yeah, you're right, Frank. Yeah, put it back, damn it. Oh, you
Now
guys are great.
now the chat's having fun with this.
You might have to put it up late this week. Left my ass off. Just you wait and see. I wasn't going to take it down. The only reason we do is because it's not happening.
That's the only reason.
Yeah.
That's it.
So what is the point of keeping it up and then getting fucking comments saying, you guys are casuals, you guys are fake fans. Why don't you guys go to Cleveland? Fuck you, okay? Calling us casuals. Are you serious? Whatever. That's our little rant from... Just go to our Instagram page. You'll see all the comments on our latest reel we put up. God. Still not changing my name to Levi Wright. Dude, I feel bad you guys share his name, bro. Your name is forever engraved in the Wallace name. You're still Levi Dub, but everyone's going to look at Levi Dub as Levi Wallace. And I feel bad for you.
Right, you are the better Levi.
Yeah.
Always will be.
Always will be. Shout out to Levi Wright in the chat. Shout out to everyone in the chat, including Uncle Hattie. Says, I wish I had a twin like you guys. Everyone says that, and I look at him like, don't.
It has positives and negatives.
Listen. I am obviously incredibly thankful for Rob. Having a twin is cool, and I can't imagine a life where I don't have a twin. That's my boy, bro. That's my boy.
I got
That's
you.
my boy.
I got you. He got me.
But there are times where we really get sick and tired of ourselves, bro.
Oh, we bicker over the stupidest bullshit
The
ever.
dumbest shit.
I swear
it's
to
fucking
God.
hilarious. It's fucking swear jar. It's hilarious, but
Oh, man.
yeah, I look at like people say, man, I really wish I had a twin. I look at them like, you sure about that? I'm like, yeah, it would actually help you a lot in many areas. But I'm telling you, it's like you're arguing with yourself all the time. It's funny. It's funny. Who's the smart one? Oh, I was an honor student.
He was always the brains. I was always the bronze. Doesn't mean I don't have a brain. I use
No,
it.
you have a brain.
I use it.
I consider you very smart. You're a very smart individual. In fact, it's funny because, you know, we were discussing this whole Kenny Pickett rumor on the couch yesterday. And I looked at him like, well, I don't know if that's entirely true. And then Rob was like, no, there might be something fishy about this. I'm like, I was kind of brushing it off. I'm not going to lie. I'm like, yeah, I mean, where there's smoke, there's fire. But I don't know. It just seems out of character for Kenny. And then I started doing some extra research. I'm like, you know what? There's people obviously denying it. Then there's some backup reports supporting what Madden said. And there's obviously reports that are deflecting what Madden said, which there always is. You know, Pittsburgh media is always going to, you know, battle for what's right and what's wrong.
Yeah,
we won't truly know. But I started looking at it. I'm like, you know what? There's some backing to this. So, I mean, it's possible.
It's something doesn't add up and something's fishy, and it still is.
Especially with the fact that Kenny said that trainers said he wasn't healthy. For the Seattle game. But
Jerry Dulick a couple days ago said he was healthy.
But he was still inactive for Seattle. So what?
Yeah, and Tomlin admitted that he was healthy. It's just lack of reps.
Yeah.
Yet he was the starter for a year and a half. Doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
Again, like very fishy, but more could come out of this. I don't know. It could very well be a non-story. It could just be just the media blowing it out of proportion.
Yeah, they do that
and
a
it
lot.
probably is.
They do that a lot with a lot
It probably is, but something just doesn't add up. You know?
I have 12-year-old triplets, by the way. Obviously, Steelers fan says the real Johnny L. Wow, that is incredible. Triplets? Damn, congrats for you, my man.
Damn, man.
And obviously, the Steelers fans, hell yeah. Would be hilarious if you two always in disagreement with this team. One of you for firing time, one for keeping them, etc. There are disagreements we have, but most times we do agree with ourselves. Some of that has to do with...
we try to reason. We try to reason with one another.
Yeah. But we don't always agree on everything. We don't always agree on everything. In fact, we do try to find things that we disagree with just to make the discussion a little
more enticing. Yeah,
right. But we don't try to fake any disagreement for that reason.
No.
Typically, I mean, us twins, we think alike in a lot of areas. So, yeah, make Mason the starter for next year. I agree. If they're gonna give Kenny an opportunity, give Mason an opportunity. I feel like Mason has something to play for now. He still has nothing to lose. But I feel like he's playing for something.
He's playing for the Steelers season. He's playing for a contract now.
Yeah.
Now that he's getting this opportunity. And, I mean, yeah, looking at the quarterback situation next year, yeah, he's competing for that job.
Yeah.
As he should. And he has earned that right.
One thing is confirmed. Mitch is gone. Mitch is done.
Yeah.
Mitch is done. He's going to get
Take
cut.
whatever dead cap, save whatever money you can, and just give it to a position of true need.
Yeah, dude, just get rid of him. What a terrible fucking extension. What a terrible signing overall that was.
I don't know how he gets signed by another NFL team. It's possible. Don't get me wrong.
No, he'll be in the UFL. We'll see him in the...
XFL division?
Yeah.
Yeah. The Brahmas, right?
No, he'll be part of the Renegades.
Okay, that makes sense.
Who's older between you two? It's him.
By 1 minute, 60 seconds.
One singular minute, yes.
Yeah.
Mitch killed the season. He did. Mitch killed the season. It's the second time he did. I blame Mitch, and I blame everyone that had any reason for bringing him in. That includes Omar Khan.
Yeah, that was definitely his biggest blunder yet.
Biggest. That was definitely his biggest L so far.
Yeah.
Let's see. What has been big defer, if any, much between the Matt Canada offense? I just lost it. Give me a damn minute. I just lost it. No, where'd it go?
I can't even find it. Hold on.
Hold on. I got you. I lost it. There we go. I found it. If any much between the Matt Canada offense he was trying to do versus what has been the offense play calling these last 24 plus score 2 games. Feels Canada stuff still there. No, Canada stuff is still there. It's still his scheme and offense.
Yeah.
Which is why it all still needs to go. It's just like with Mason, it's like the play callers understand, like they have a lot more they can work with because they know he'll fucking throw the football. Swear jar.
Yeah.
James says, I'm a Browns fan, and I think that you guys are getting hot at the right time, and if you make the playoffs, you're going to be very dangerous.
Well, thank you for thinking.
No, he might be right, though. He might be right. If we stick with Mason and Mason keeps going like this, he might be right.
Yeah. I mean, when it comes to consistency with the team, Mason is like the only one. When it comes to quarterback, he's the only one that's able to remain consistent. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, let me put.
And the whole team is feeding off of that.
Well,
as they should.
Let me put it this way: the last couple times we've made the playoffs, which has been mostly with an aging Ben.
Yeah.
We haven't had a quarterback that was able to sling it, because prime Ben, obviously, led us to our last playoff win, and that was towards the end of his run.
Yeah.
And then we had Ben in his later years, who was not the same quarterback. He couldn't sling it like he used to. His arm was shot. But if we make the playoffs and Mason is the starter, it'll be our first playoff game in a while where we have a quarterback that can actually sling it. So that might have an advanced opportunity.
You make a good point. If anything, because of that, stronger arm, that could, especially if Mason continues to keep up what he's doing, I mean, very well possible.
Maybe that's me being optimistic. Does it still lead to a victory? I mean, I don't think so. But again, I love them to prove me wrong. How you guys feel about keeping both backs for next year? You keep your both backs as long as possible.
Yeah.
In fact, I'd keep these backs as long as possible, which means make Jalen the starter, give him most of the carries, and then Najee, with his age and how much, miles he carries, he can play that rotational piece.
Yeah.
It's just swapping the roles. Najee has been great. He's actually, 67 yards away from 1,000?
Yeah.
While splitting carries. Still impressive.
Yeah. I mean, I believe the Steelers' rushing offense, I think they're nearing. Here, let me check real quick before I make that statement.
As a matter of fact, this rushing duo is our first rushing duo that have had each 1,000 scrimmage yards since, what was it? What did they say? 1982 or something?
83, 86, whatever.
Something. It was sometime in it's been a long time since we've had a running back duo that each had 1,000 scrimmage yards.
Okay, so if the Steelers' rushing offense, can manage to get over 150 rushing yards against Baltimore, they would be able to obtain over 2,000 rushing yards total this season.
Wow.
With Najee and Warren obviously carrying the majority of it, which is insane.
Yeah.
It's pretty good.
Yeah. And that's what Steele Burke says with 499. Seems to be a good combo and formula. It is. You keep running with them. And that could lead to Najee getting his fifth-year extension, or fifth-year option, which could help to a team-friendly extension, but only if Najee understands that he's going to be playing the split carry role, which means Jalen Warren would be getting the majority of the carries and the majority of the playing time. Najee would just literally take Jalen Warren's role. Simple as that.
Yeah.
Because as Najee ages and he gets older, obviously, the running back position is not very friendly in that regard.
Yeah.
But Najee can still play around. He can still be here. He can still be a very dependable backup. He can still be very productive. He is a very productive back, as a matter of fact.
Yeah.
But Warren would see the majority of the carries. I'm keeping those two for a while. I'm keeping Warren definitely a while.
Keep him as long as you can.
And if Najee, whenever his time's up, you can still find someone else to split with Warren.
Yeah.
But that's for upcoming years.
We got nothing to worry about when it comes to the running game.
Nothing. We got
zero.
We got a line that still needs a center and a right tackle.
Move Broderick back to left.
Yes, we still need center and right tackle, but you got a line that can definitely feed your running backs. You got running backs that'll.
Muller's in the run game too.
Dude, they will produce no matter what. Yards after contact, breaking tackles. They can get big chunks. They can get in the end zone. You got your guys. It's nothing you got to worry about. Levi Wright with a $10 says, "Here's the chat I was trying to send. Ready for us on Saturday. Thoughts on trying to get Russell Wilson next season? Did you enjoy your Christmas and New Year's?" Yes, we're absolutely ready for the Ravens. I hope so. I would really hope so. I'm excited for that game.
Look forward to the matchup.
Look very forward to the matchup. Thoughts on trying to get Russell Wilson next year? No, thank you.
I wouldn't. Not with what he's probably going to want to be asking for.
Yeah, that would be a bad move. He's a bridge quarterback.
Yeah.
He had a decent season, a much better season this year, but I feel at this stage he's more of a bridge. He's not the Russell Wilson he used to be.
No.
Not with Seattle. He's not the Russell Wilson that could be very, very productive and help lead a team to a playoff berth or potentially Super Bowl. He's not that same guy.
Yeah.
He's more of a bridge now. But
and I just see like teams like the Patriots, the Giants, the Vikings maybe if they can't bring back Kirk Cousins. I could see them vying for Russell Wilson more than the Steelers.
Yeah.
I could be wrong, but I just don't see the Steelers really vying a lot or trying to get Russell Wilson. Like they'd be a heavy favorite.
No, I mean everyone's gonna put that out there because we still need a quarterback, but
of course.
I doubt they're going to do that. In fact, I'm still ingesting as much as I can into the defense because it still needs a lot of depth and needs some extra holes fixed. And you're not paying a quarterback a lot of money, so you can ingest as much as you want into the line and into the defense.
Yeah.
And into other positions. It's like going the 49ers route. They don't have to pay Purdy or whoever they have a quarterback so much. They have such a great scheme. They have a quarterback that can produce. They don't have to pay him that much. Thus, you can put all your efforts, all your extra cap into so much others, which is why the Niners are so good. It's why many other teams are so good, which is why a lot of these teams that have had quarterbacks on the rookie contracts have produced so well.
Yeah.
Plus, the quarterback plays a massive, massive part.
Oh, big time. Big time.
I mean, you look at Mahomes, you look at Burrow, you look at Hurts, you look at Tua, you definitely look at Purdy.
He's definitely put his name in that discussion.
They were at one point all under rookie contracts, and they were helping produce with what was a stacked team. And yes, we did enjoy our Christmas and New Year's. Hope you guys did the same.
Yep.
My New Year's didn't start off too great. I'll just put it that way. But no,
Yeah.
I'm feeling good now. I'm feeling great now.
Good,
And,
good.
Very, very excited for this Saturday matchup, which is at 4:30 Eastern Standard Time. Unfortunately, I might have to work Saturday, but I'm definitely going to try to get off the clock as soon as I can before the game. In fact, I have a way of doing that, and I'm going to have to do that tomorrow. But I can definitely pull some strings to get off in time for the game, so that should be no worry. But regardless, Rob will be here to do commentary, very much like he did for the what was it, the
Bengals.
game.
Yeah, the Bengals game. Yeah, you know me. I got you covered. I got this shit locked down.
Yeah. Maybe I'll get a Warren jersey or a Najee. Well, we got Najee.
I got two.
I got to get Warren. And I'm going to get a Mason jersey. So Joey Weaver, I definitely got to get that.
Yeah.
Definitely got to get that. Danielle, what's up? She says, I could only live like an hour or so away. Oh, live an hour or so away.
Yeah.
Oh, what's that in regards? Trying to see if I missed anything in the chat. Still have to worry about this officiating crew as well now. Same crew that botched the Lions and Cowboys game. Yeah, we touched on that. That scares me. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah.
I'm not going to lie. That's a terrible officiating crew in any way the NFL wants to throw things. Because there's no way this guy still has a job after fucking up the Lions seating. No way.
And just outwardly calling all the Lions players liars, essentially.
That has to be an NFL agenda. That has to be an NFL assignment. They did it for their own headlines or their own agendas of what team they want to push.
Yeah.
And ironically, the Cowboys are America's team. I'm just saying. Not trying to be a conspiracy theorist. Let me get my fucking tinfoil cap off. Let me just say.
The refs fumbled that game, of course.
Yeah, but I feel like the NFL definitely has a part in that, which is why people mention the fact that it might be
I don't
rigged.
disagree.
So
I don't disagree.
The fact that he is officiating our game gives me a little bit of a scare that, hey, there might be some fuckery.
Of all games. All games, bro.
Swear jar, by the way.
Steelers Ravens, you know.
I had to put in at least half of the quarters in here.
Yeah, we're nearing the bottom already.
I curse a lot, don't I?
It happens.
Hey, I'm just trying to add more before the end of the goddamn season.
It's for a good purpose.
Yeah, because in case you guys don't know.
See, I'm the bronze.
Whatever.
Let me hold it.
Whatever's in here at the end of the season, which is the Super Bowl, we'll put the amount of this into a giveaway, and then we'll pretty much find something nice for you guys to get, and then you guys can rally off for a potential giveaway.
Yep.
The details will be coming that soon. That'll be after the Super Bowl. And then once the Super Bowl is concluded, we'll empty this, and then it will restart until the next Super Bowl. That's our little yearly tradition we're doing, which is why the swear jar is still here. And there's definitely a lot more in here than it was last year. So hopefully we can get something nice and pretty for you guys. I think the Baltimore Ravens are the only going to let their starters play till halftime. Last time they rested them in 2019, they lost to the Titans, so we got to play solid, says Gina. That's a good point. They rested them, and then they obviously went one and done in what was the Ravens' best year in a while. Now, this year's arguably greater, but I think Harbaugh's going to learn from his mistakes. And again, man, Harbaugh's coming into this game as playoff atmosphere. They're going to try to spoil us as much as possible. Lamar won't play. That's the only one I know for sure won't. I'm sure Roquan will see some reps. Geno will see some reps. Humphrey for sure.
If he plays, because I know he's dealing with an injury. I think it's hamstring or ankle. Humphrey's got a nagging injury. Right. That might be one to watch because they're going to need him for the postseason.
Right.
So he may play, he may not play. We'll see. But I know they got reliable depth and veteran depth behind Humphrey.
Yeah. But that's how defensively stacked they are the Ravens. But let me see these playoff standings real quick, because I know there's a couple ways that these 4 teams that are, or these 3 teams that are vying for a playoff spot. No, 4 teams. 4 teams are vying for a playoff spot.
Yeah.
Because the Jags, they haven't clinched a playoff spot either. Because the Jags, the Colts, and the Texans are still a 3-way tie for the division.
And I believe Jacksonville is at the top of the division, but they need to win to secure it, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay, so the Jags, they win the tiebreaker over Indianapolis and Houston based on win percentage. So if the Jags win, they're in the playoffs and they win the division.
Yeah.
The Colts, they win tiebreaker over Pittsburgh based on head-to-head win percentage. Division tiebreak was initially used to eliminate Houston. Indianapolis wins tiebreaker over Houston based on head-to-head win percentage.
Okay.
And of course, Houston has the win tiebreaker over Pittsburgh because they both beat us. In fact, the Jags, Texans, and Steelers, Jags, Colts, and Texans all beat us.
Mm-hmm.
So they have the win percentage, or they have that conference over us. But, that's still in the air. In fact, I believe, regardless, the Colts and the Texans, they're going to need the Jags to lose, and whoever wins the Colts and Texans game would win the division if the Jags lose.
Mm-hmm.
Whether if the Jags win, they clinch the division. And then whoever wins the Colts and Texans game will just make the playoffs. And if that's the case, we will still need the Bills to lose. Because I think we would have a similar record, but a better conference record, I believe.
Yeah.
Yes, because the Bills are 6-5, and we're 6-5 in the conference, which means if the Bills lose, they'd be 6-6, and we would be 7-5 because we beat the Ravens. We have a better conference record, so we would push out Buffalo. Interesting.
Yes.
Interesting. So either the damn, man. Damn, that's crazy. That's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be a wild Week 18, bro.
Yes,
it is.
Wow.
It's going to be a wild weekend of football, bro. Let me tell you. And it all starts with the Steelers versus Ravens, man, on Saturday at Baltimore M&T Bank Stadium at 4:30 Eastern Standard Time. What about the Broncos conference record? They're eliminated.
Yeah.
They're 5-6.
Yeah, there we go.
They're 5-6. But we would still need, so if we lose, we would still need the Jags to lose, and we would need the Broncos to beat the Raiders.
Yeah.
Because, let me see something. Let me see something. We lose, but we would still need the Jags to lose, and we would need the Broncos to beat the Raiders. Okay.
Yes.
I just had to confirm that. Yeah, because whoever wins the Colts-Texans game would make the division.
Yes.
They would get home field advantage for the division.
Yeah.
Bills, I think, would make the playoffs regardless. And then we would get the 7th seed. Interesting. However, because I do have to point out, if we lose and then the Broncos win, we would still need the Colts and Texans to not tie. Because if they tie, the Broncos win means nothing because they would both still make the playoffs.
Yeah, of course.
I think. Yeah. They would make it over the Jags. So the Jags would be out. So anything can happen. A lot of things could go down this weekend, dude. But that's just the AFC. How about the NFC, dude?
Yeah, there's still much more teams vying, especially that division. Was it the NFC South?
Yeah.
Bucks, Saints, and them?
Yeah, because the Bucks and the Saints have the same record. So they would be vying for the... Actually, no, the Falcons are still in it. The Falcons,
what?
Yeah, the Falcons are still in it.
How?
So the Bears are eliminated.
Yeah, they got eliminated because Green Bay won Sunday night.
So, but the Falcons are still in it. Interesting. The Falcons... Yeah, because... No, hold on, wait a minute. They would need something crazy to happen. They're going to need a lot. Let me tell you, because the Falcons are 7-9. They get a win. They're 8-9 if they win.
Yeah.
Which means they would need the Packers or the Seahawks, maybe the Bucks to lose. I don't know exactly what they all need, but somehow the Falcons are still in it. Falcons aren't making it. But
you'd be surprised.
but the Bucks, Saints, Packers, Seahawks, and I'll even throw in the Vikings are still in contention.
Yeah.
But the favorites are obviously going to be the Bucks, Packers, Seahawks, or Saints. So it's going to be wild. We'll see if Jordan Love can lead the Packers to a playoff berth. That would be crazy for his first year. He's been playing very good.
He's been playing lights out. He's done very good.
Yeah.
Which doesn't speak well for the NFC North because they've been, they've been suffering with the reign of A-Rod. Now they got to suffer with the reign of J. Love.
Yeah.
So,
hey, man, the Packers are good at finding decent quarterbacks, bro.
I don't know what it is. It's in their DNA.
Love's having a good year, man. I tell you, Week 18 is going to be nothing but a must-watch for a lot of games.
Must-see action. Must-see games, man. Playoffs are dwindling down.
A lot of playoff scenarios, a lot of playoff implications, so it's going to be a crazy week. And, again, it all starts with the Steelers and Ravens, man. So
it would start with us.
It would start with us. I wish it would end with us, but nothing's going to top the Bills and Dolphins.
No, that's for a division. Like, come on.
Yeah, but this starts the last week of the regular season, which we're already at. It's already Week 18. The playoffs are around the corner. It's fucking wild. That's how quick the season has flown by. It's been a wild season, and we're at the closure of it. But it might not be the closure for the Steelers because the playoffs are still a decent likelihood for them. So, again, just win and pray. Win and pray is all we can ask for. But Mason's getting the start.
Rightfully so.
Let's all root behind Mason. Let's all try to, hope that Mason can lead this team to much more success and to just push for 3 straight wins and maybe even a playoff berth. And I think that'd be great. That'd be a great story, a feel-good story for Mason. And I think everyone has already kind of changed their tone on Mason. So let's hope he just continues to play out.
Yeah,
play
just
lights out right now.
Going into Baltimore, enemy territory, hostile environment, just go in there, do some damage, and at the end of the day, man, just try to escape and leave with a victory.
Yeah.
And when it comes to Sunday, just pray. Hope for the best.
Exactly.
Pray to whatever God that you believe in.
But somehow, some way, man, there is still a possibility. So let's hope for the best, man. At the end of the day, we are the Pittsburgh Steelers, and let's just hope for the best. Regardless of what we feel, let's just hope for the best. So that's all we can say. And we'll close out here whether Joey Weaver 199 says we would play Finns, Bills, or Kansas City. Hopefully not Bills. I don't want to face either, if I'm going to be real with you. Definitely not the Finns. Definitely not the Bills. Kansas City isn't as legitimate, but, I mean, it's still Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes. Hate to sound like Chris Collinsworth or Tony Romo, but it is true. And we would have to face them, I believe, in their stadium.
Yeah, I don't think we would host a playoff game.
No, because if we would be the 7th seed, which means we would be on the road all playoffs.
Yeah.
So, yeah, there you have it. But we'll close it out here, man. Thank you guys for joining us today on episode 40 of the Steeler Culture Podcast. Thank you guys so much for tuning in as we discussed all the whole Kenny backup rumors or whatever was going on, how Kenny kind of debunked that. Still a little fishy situation, but all that matters is Mason starting. Kenny's healthy. He'll be the number 2. That's what we can look forward to. And we got the Steelers versus Ravens matchup. Always a must-see battle. AFC North physical competition. Playoffs still in implications for the Steelers. So we'll see what happens, man. This is going to be like a playoff atmosphere. We hope the Steelers come in and step up. So the Steelers team's riding on something hot. Just continue to build on that and understand that just win this football game. But you guys, man, you guys enjoy the rest of your week. You guys enjoy the rest of your day. And we'll see you on Saturday for the Steelers versus Ravens matchup. Here we go, Steelers.
As always, like, comment, subscribe, and we'll see you later. Peace!